What's going on, everybody? All right, so look, I'm gonna get right to the point. I'm so sick and tired of what Warner Brothers, the studio themselves, have been doing and have done with everything related to the Snyderverse. As always, if you like the content, you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, show your support. All right, look, let's get into it. All right, look, since the beginning, when it started with Man of Steel, Zack Snyder was brought on board by Christopher Nolan. We know that. Now, when we were going from Man of Steel to Batman versus Superman, what happened? The studio kept getting in the way. And it's been years since, the release of Batman versus Superman. And here we are, years later, still talking about that movie like it was released yesterday. It's aging like fine wine. Why? Because that's quality. That's what happens with quality. You don't talk about The Suicide Squad. You don't talk about Peacemaker like that. You know why? Because those are not quality projects, films, or anything that has to do in the entertainment business. It's one of those you just watch one time and move on. With Zack Snyder, you can keep on talking about it for years. And every time there's always something awesome to pull and pick from it, whether it's good or it's bad, because that shows you that's how awesome this movie is. I get it. Some of you don't like it, didn't like it. That's okay. That's fine. That's not for you. But then we have the true vision, which was the ultimate cut from Batman versus Superman. Now, what happened with this movie? All right, like I say, and this is my point of view, so everybody's going to see their point of view different. Batman versus Superman was a 50-50 movie. Why? Because it continued and it was trying to set up something new with Superman, because of course we had Man of Steel, and they were already rushing it, the studio, not Zack, bring in Batman to face off, okay? The studio, since the beginning, has wanted to be like Marvel, and they're like, we want to play, and catch up like Marvel. We want that Marvel money. And to the day of today, they still can't. Without Zack Snyder, they cannot do it. And the only reason why Batman vs. Superman did not make $1 billion is because of WB themselves. They're so incompetent that they kept on getting in the way and screwing with Zack Snyder's vision and kept on moving things left and right. So Zack did what he could in the time he had with what he had available at that time. And even like that, it was still a huge success because the numbers don't lie. And for that movie, for its time, it just broke records, And of course, you have all these paid critics that they're getting paid by the competition to ruin and make your movie look bad. So what were they saying? Oh, all of these betas were like, oh, well, Batman versus Superman is too strong. It's too dark, Because, of course, we already had phase 1 with Iron Man, the whole thing of the MCU. And it just completely had everybody like, whoa, this movie is a little too strong. But again, it's not for certain people. That's why, since the beginning, this movie is going to be released rated R. And that's what the studio should have done. Just release it rated R. But what did they do? No, let's go with the PG-13. And it didn't work. It didn't work for that one. It didn't work for Justice League because, of course, we had the Justice League, which was terrible at the box office. And it's not because of Zack Snyder's fault. It's because, again, WB kept on getting in the way. The same thing happened with David Ayer. They screwed him over, and they gave us the studio squad because that's not the one that we wanted. We're supposed to get, and in due time, we'll get the Ayer cut. This is why we're fighting, and we will continue to go against WB. This is a symbolic war where we, the fans, we know what we want. We're not going to stop, and damn it, we're going to get it. The same way that we got Zack Snyder's Justice League. Amazing. Till this day, it continues to age like fine wine, and for the future, it's going to do the same. Now, the big problem with WB was, they didn't set up a proper Batman movie with Ben Affleck. All these years, and we still don't have a Ben Affleck movie. And it's a shame because Ben Affleck did an awesome job at portraying Batman and Bruce Wayne. He's brute, he's badass, he's torn down, he's just tired of all these criminals. So he's kicking ass and he's going to do what he has to do regardless the situation. And that's the awesome part about it. The same thing that we saw with Henry Cavill as Superman. Zack Snyder was giving us a different take and a different look And I, as a fan, loved it. I love it and I want more. This is why I keep on fighting. You know, this is why I'm holding the front line for all of us, because in due time, we will get the Snyderverse restored. In due time, we will get the Ayer cut released. And I can't wait, because it's going to happen. Now, the problem with WB was that they didn't use Ben Affleck to the fullest. Every time they brought him in was for a cameo. Batman vs. Superman doesn't qualify as his standalone film. That's a 50-50 movie. Half Batman, half Superman. They should have just done Man of Steel 2 and focused on that. But again, WB got in the way, screwed around with Zack Snyder's plans, and they didn't let Zack fully unfold all his true potential and his vision of what he was planning to do within time with the DCEU at that time. Because of course we had Wonder Woman. Yes, Patty Jenkins directed it. She did it, but she was consulting Zack Snyder. The same thing with James Wan. He was consulting behind the scenes with Zack and talking what the plan was going to be. That's why the first movie was so successful. And you can see the elements, and you can see how Zack was involved in it, because James Wan and Patty Jenkins were both consulting and talking with Zack Snyder so they can make those movies. That's why those movies are so great. You know, still part of the Snyderverse, whether you like it or not. That's where it's at. The problem with WB is that they never brought in Ben to do his standalone film. If they would have done it, I'm guaranteeing you, Ben Affleck's Batman movie would make over $1 billion just alone on that one IP. Why? Because people want more of that. A lot of fans loved what and how Ben Affleck portrayed Bruce Wayne and Batman from what we saw in Batman vs. Superman. And of course, the cameo that we saw when it was setting up, you know, with Suicide Squad, when you see Joker and Harley in that opening scene. Amazing. It was just amazing. I want more of that. I want to know what happens, what leads to it, and where does it, you know, continue and stuff. And the same thing that we saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It just doesn't end there. It's setting up something for the future with the Nightmare timeline. In the cinematic universe, I want more of that. That's what I'm fighting for. That is the vision and the goal that I want to see. WB allows Zack Snyder to return to do his vision and fully unfold everything, because we were supposed to get Batman versus Deathstroke, and again, nothing happened. Another movie that I'm telling you, it would have made $1 billion, just that IP alone. We finally see at the end with that epilogue scene with Joker and Batman, they finally interact, they're talking and stuff like that. We need more of that. I want more of that. A lot of us want more of that. WB, make that happen. You need to bring Zack back. You need to bring David Ayer back. It was a shared universe, but at the same time, it was taking its own course. The problem with WB is that they didn't allow Zack to fully unfold his vision and do what he was going to do, because WB was so desperate, and they're still, to this day, desperate, trying to be like Marvel. Meanwhile, Marvel's already in phase 5 and 6 with the Avengers, and we've only gotten one Justice League movie from Zack Snyder. This is why we're fighting for restore the Snyderverse, release the Ayer cut, because damn it, in due time, we the fans will win the same way that we won to get the Snyder cut. There's no stopping us. We will stop at nothing. As always, hit that subscribe, drop your comments, and until next time.